This whole Trojan War thing starts when Paris decides that he wants to marry Helen. The problem is that Helen is already married to Menelaus, who is brothers with Agamemnon, who is friends with a lot of Greek kings. They all decide to go to war with Troy because Paris stole Helen. So it's been like 10 years since the war started, and somehow nobody has managed to get anything done during that whole time. The Greeks have a great warrior named Achilles, who is really good at killing stuff because his mom, Thetis, is a god, but he has some serious anger issues. He tries to kill Agamemnon for stealing his slave girl and then decides to quit fighting. Odysseus tries to convince him to come back, but he refuses until his friend Patroclus gets killed by Troy's hero Hector. Achilles gets really mad, kills Hector, and spends 10 days desecrating his corpse. This makes the gods and the Trojans pretty upset, and they ask Achilles to give his body back. The story ends with a temporary truce between the Greeks and Trojans, while the Trojans bury Hector.
Alright, so the first theme of the Iliad that we want to discuss is rage, because that's the one that's up on the screen right now. Rage is very prevalent in the Iliad. I mean, all you have to do is look at the title of the first book, and it's The Rage of Achilles. So, it's a good chance that it's going to be a lot about rage.
Definitely. I mean, even if you don't even have to like really try and find rage. Just kind of open to a random page. You're probably going to end up finding rage because there's just so much rage in this book. Like for example, the first line of the story: "Goddess, sing the rage of Peleus' son Achilles, murderous, doomed, that cost the Achaeans countless losses."
You look at Achilles throughout the first book, and I'm pretty sure the first book is where he basically just has a little kid fight. He's just arguing, and he's just like, you know what, I'm just gonna end up going to war because I just hate people and I just want to kill people. I am just so enraged. You see that? The rage is coming out of that.
Achilles just, he can't contain his rage whatsoever. Agamemnon is just like, him and Achilles, they're both pretty mortal people, even though Achilles does most of the fighting. So after they, pillage a village or whatever, he's taken Trojan women, him and Agamemnon. Well, there's a problem with Apollo. One of his priest's daughters was one of the ones they took, because apparently priests can
have daughters.
Daughters, yeah.
It's got to be possible.
Probably possible. But, Agamemnon gets all mad because, okay, they're taking his woman back and giving her back to her father. And it's like, okay, that doesn't seem like that's such a bad thing, right? Like, no, that's okay. But then here's Achilles going like, well, look, you can give up one woman for the sake of the entire Greek army, right? And then what does Achilles do? Well, when Agamemnon says, all right, well, then give me your slave girl, then... Achilles says, "Well, no, you're not going to take her," and it's just like, you know what? Screw you guys. I'm just not going to fight. The whole Greek army is affected by Achilles' rage, and that's just like, he's immature.
In book 22, that's when Hector and Achilles start fighting, and it's a pretty good fight scene. Hector's running away like a scared baby, even though he's a pretty
bad,
honorable soldier. And eventually Athena comes down and says, "Hector, you're gonna beat Achilles. He's not that great of a soldier." Hector tried to make Achilles promise beforehand,
Don't desecrate my corpse.
There we go. That's what I was looking
what
for.
does Achilles do? He desecrates his corpse.
I didn't really like you, Hector, so I'm just gonna desecrate your body.
You killed my friend, so I killed you and desecrated your corpse for 10 days. Seems fair, right? Well, I mean, I guess if you were to sum it up, all we would really need to say about, the concept of rage in the Iliad is that if it's about rage, it's like 90% likely to be about Achilles. There's really no other raging people. I mean, other people get mad sometimes, and there's like... there's some rage, but like rage is Achilles. Rage equals Achilles.
Remember, if you don't know math, the equal sign works both ways.
Yeah. Well, it's true. It would return true in this case.
It would return true. I didn't use it right. Return true. Yeah. All right. So now let's move on to the most interesting and important topic in the Iliad, and that is, dare I say it, duty.
You dare.
Duty.
You dare to
duty.
Say it.
That is a big, big key in the Iliad. It is a big deal in the Iliad. In book 1, there was a quote: "Shameless, we all followed you, to please you, to fight for you, to win your honor back from the Trojans." And, that's Hector's duty
versus Achilles' duty is what we really got to go back to.
It's like Achilles is just full of rage and he likes killing people. His sense of duty is like, well, I want to, so I will. Neither of those people is Joel. Seriously, he's got to show up sometime, right? All of our duty scenes are just
Just laughing.
Our duty
scenes. Come on, you gotta find that funny. So Hector and Achilles' duty, I mean, it comes back down to who they are as a person. Like we said, Achilles is rage. Rage. Obviously, his duty is going to be to fulfill his rage. Hector's duty, it's a little bit different than Achilles.
Yeah. I mean, Hector really has a sense of duty for his family, for his city. The important things to Hector are, number one, his city. He's got to defend his city. Number two, family is number two in the hierarchy of duty for Hector. Hector's family is number two.
So Hector loves his
There's lots of people.
His family.
That one's Joel. It's Joel. Hey,
it's Joel.
Yay,
Joel.
Moving on then to the theme of fate, and there's a lot of fate and foreshadowing in the Iliad. We can say things like when Hector is killed, he's almost cursing Achilles.
This is Zeus's scale.
You want to explain that, Joel?
Yeah.
It's just a scale that he sets people's lives on, and whichever one is heavier, I guess he just decides they're the one who's going to die, and he makes sure it goes that way. Hopefully it's a well-balanced scale, because he's deciding people's lives on it.
Does Zeus really have control over this thing, or is it just kind of like, well,
I mean, it's
there's
almost
a scale here,
and the
scale is like
Somebody
if your soul
is
is heavier.
I think that it picked him if it's going based on your soul and your heart and everything, because he was a more honorable person. He had more duties.
Based on the Iliad, I really don't see why Achilles was better than Hector, aside from maybe he was a better warrior, because his family and his city, and he also he's worried about his own life, and all of that is a part of Hector's character, and I feel like that's better than why is Hector's fate why is he the one to die?
I mean, I just feel that Hector has to be the one that died. If we're going based on a scale that weighs your soul, I feel like Achilles is more of a sociopath that doesn't have a soul. He doesn't really have a conscience or anything. So I mean, that contributes with less of your soul weight, if you want to call it that, on the scale.
Zeus said, or the book said, Zeus liked Hector more, but then the scale made him change his
I
mind.
feel like everybody liked Hector more.
Let's skip here. Let's go to compassion. Now, when I think of compassion, I think of a warm hug on a beach or something like that. Not Achilles slaughtering every single person he can find in this book.
Achilles would not be the one you would look at for showing compassion.
That's a good point.
Some could say he was a sociopath and he actually had no compassion.
He did give Hector's body back to Priam after Priam made him feel bad about his own father.
I mean,
It wasn't really related to compassion, I guess,
I
for
don't think
Hector
that
or
was
anything, but it was compassion for something.
you're about to kill Hector here, and Hector pleads for you to not desecrate his corpse, but you just go, you know what? I didn't like you at all, so I'm just going to desecrate your corpse for 10 days because you killed my friend.
It wasn't even like Hector's fault that he killed his friend. Like, they've been going to war for like 10 years now. I'm sorry that I happened to kill one of the soldiers on the opposing sides here, and
Who was wearing your armor because you were off pouting.
They seem to be little crybabies, or,
Mm-hmm.
They needed to grow up.
Responsibility.
Responsibility
is another kind of central theme to the story. It's just like, who takes responsibility for their actions and who doesn't take responsibility for their actions. I mean, I feel like nobody takes responsibility for their actions. I think that's the real answer here. God kills everybody because the priest is upset. Agamemnon's like, it's not my fault. I'm not their king or anything.
But also, Hector just seemed like, you know what, who cares if I die? It's my fate. If I die in battle, I die in battle, and it's a glorious death. But I'm going to die anyways. If I stay home to take care of my son and you, I'm just going to die there. The gods will kill me somehow.
If I'm gonna die, then I will die.
He's
And
basically,
going to battle won't change it.
yeah, it's like, I'm gonna die at 5 o'clock. It doesn't matter if I'm at war or if I'm sitting here taking a bubble bath.
Hector did not take a bubble bath. Hector went and fought for his city.
Just to reiterate, there were
bubbles.
no bubbles in the bath that he was taking. It was a bath of blood when his corpse was desecrated by being dragged by a chariot.
There was like some foreshadowing. It was like, because in the book it says that Achilles pierces Hector's ankles, which if you think about it, the Achilles tendon or whatever. Basically, like they're saying that because he like strung him up by his ankles and dragged him around in a chariot, he's maybe his fate changes at that point, so that he's going to be like shot by Paris in the ankle, which is a fatal wound.
Apparently, he has an artery going through there or something.
Yeah,
Now,
by
because his
dipping
physiology
him in the-
has changed.
Exactly.
Made an ankle wound a fatal wound.
Yeah. Nice catch. Glad we caught that on camera. That was a good one. There. So there's like bones in here.
I thought you were in bio.
Bones all look like this. I'm in bio, not anatomy.
A little more pre-knowledge. Human beings, because of the structure of their ankles, are the only species that can get a sprained or rolled ankle.
That sucks. But yeah, the Achilles tendon is this one right here.
He had an arrow. Now, if this were a normal person, they'd be out for like 6 to 9 months.
In the case of Achilles,
Yeah.
his brain is right here. Explains why headshots are not fatal for Achilles. There is nothing up there. It's... What else do we have to talk about?
I mean, that's pretty much the end of the list.